Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Ken Smith, just the old guy having fun with trains. And today I'm going to show you what I decided to build for my brewery on the Barely Making It Railroad. Now, initially I bought this at a train show for $5, and this is what I was going to put there. But the more I looked at it, the space was a little bit prohibitive of trying to make this work, and I was going to put it on the other side of the layout, decided not to do that. So instead, I picked up this for $4. And while it's not designed to be a brewery, I saw a guy who actually took one of these and turned it into a brewery. And so why reinvent the wheel? I'm going to put my twist to it. So without further ado, let's get at today's video. This is the instructions for the kit. Pretty much just shows you an exploded view. And if you flip it over on the other side, well, those are your instructions. And it says to read first. So I guess we'll do some reading, and then we'll start slapping this bad boy together. Now I want to do a quick shout out and thank our sponsors for today's video. Bob Smith Industries for supplying us with all of the CCA glue that we needed, as well as Excel Tools for supplying us with all of the hand tools that we needed to assemble the project in today's video. I didn't want to bore you with all the details, but I got everything painted. We're basically going with a one-color paint scheme. And if you look up, if you do any kind of history research, you'll see that a lot of buildings around the turn of the 20th century, which is the era that I'm modeling, they basically, a lot of their commercial structures, even some of their residential structures, were basically earth tones. And usually dark earth tones for the main color of the structure, and some lighter earth tones or some vibrant colors depending on what year or a couple of years into the 20th century that you're modeling, where they did some trim work. But we're basically, I should say, we're going to be two colors for all the doors and windows. We're going to kind of go with a green, and then all of the roof material is rust. And it's corrugated, so I made it very rusty. We're going to weather up the sides and everything else once we get her going. But I'm going to show you how I did that rust right now. Now this is how I take a piece of corrugated plastic, and I'll turn it into something that looks really gnarly and rusty. And it's a real simple method. Some people like just using artist chalks, which is what I have here, and then they just apply them and put them on, and then that's it. But I don't like doing it that way. For some things it works, but other things it doesn't. Others will apply the artist chalk and then apply a fixative to it. The problem with that method is, while it is secure, trying to go light over dark is almost next to impossible. Now here I'm going to be using this particular color, a little bit of this maybe, but my method seems to work for me. Your mileage may vary. But what I do is I take some Tester's Dull Coat. I use the bottle form for this. I use two brushes, one that's kind of gnarly, that I don't mind. It's seen better days as a paintbrush, but this is ideal for this kind of application. And then I use a good quality paintbrush for this. So I take my Tester's Dull Coat, shake it up. You can see that it's been sitting for a while, so we still got some talc or whatever powder they use to dull, to make it dull coat. We'll shake this up for a little bit and do it off screen, and then we'll come right back. Now that I have that all mixed up, I take my good paintbrush and I apply a liberal amount of paint. Now this might seem almost kind of shocking, but you'll get it in a minute. There's a lot of paint right there. I apply a liberal amount of paint onto the surface. You'll get all of this in just a second. Trying to do this with the camera literally in front of me. But here we have a liberal amount of paint. Almost seems like too much paint. Well, in most cases, that is too much paint. But now I'm going to take my chalk and brush it in. Now, by doing it like this, here's what ends up happening. We have a liberal amount of chalk on our part. It absorbs the extra paint and almost acts as a permanent fixative. I'll go ahead, dab that a little bit, bring a little of this color in here and just kind of spot it around. Brush it like so. And when this dries, 99% of that is going to be on there. All we're going to do after the paint thoroughly dries is come back and do some dry brushing over it to knock off anything that's loose. But look at how realistic that looks. And you can quickly see that the paint acts almost like glue. And this is what everything looks like once it's all finished. This really came out just the way I was hoping it would. Just nice and rust-y looking. The nice thing about doing the chalk too, the way I just showed you, is that it leaves a little bit of texture. And texture is really hard to model in HL scale. So I was very pleased with how this came out. So this is kind of pre-assembly. The buildings aren't joined together. The walls here are not glued onto the base, nor is this actually glued onto that. There's a few things that I wanted to just kind of show you. If you do decide to do this kit, like I said, it's an old AHM kit, and there's a lot of, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of issues with this kit. For starters, and I'll just kind of walk you through, the biggest thing here is joining these two together. And ironically, it is one of the last things listed here in the instructions. But I got to tell you, if you don't dry fit this thing first, you're going to get really frustrated. You're going to get really aggravated. It's not going to go together very well. So pulling these apart, if you look at this side, it's somewhat fairly smooth. Obviously, you've got some ridges there, but the big problem is the roof. Now, if I flip the roof over, you see that overhang right there? Well, I ended up having to cut it off and then file it smooth so that the two sides would join a lot more flush. You would have had that much of a gap, and so what would have ended up happening is this would have been a massive bow trying to glue it together. You can see when I push them together now, it's a lot smoother and more flush. And if we come along to the back side of the model, the same thing. You'll see that this building, once I go to glue it together, will be a lot more flush. So just take heed when you go to assemble this to definitely dry fit this. The other thing that I wanted to kind of point out is right here, this section. Well, once the roof goes on, you don't see an awful lot, but I just thought it was going to be very vague. And so what I ended up doing, I got an extra ladder, and I'm going to put another ladder right here in this corner. And I've got these little, what looks like crates. They're actually little saw-off sections of old lumber. And I just cut them to various sizes and just kind of dry brush paint them and whatnot. And that'll look like crates sitting up here, and just kind of gives the illusion that, hey, that's some extra storage there. So I plan on doing that, and it'll add a little bit of color to an otherwise mundane looking building. Now there's a bunch of ladders that will go here and here and here. And honestly, it's kind of a little hokey looking, but I'm going to do it anyway because I just thought, well, it'll add a little bit of character to this building. And so that I plan on doing that. I do have some extra railing from another kit, and I thought about possibly putting that up there. That might work. Haven't decided 100% yet, but I do have that, so that's always a possibility. Another thing I just wanted to point out too is that they have in the kit what they call pipe sections to join this to that building. But when you flip over the instructions and you look at it, it's actually, it almost looks like a gutter. You notice that the piece actually has some rounded edges, but then there's this big, huge flat spot. And to me, for lack of a better way of saying it, looks butt ugly. So what I ended up doing is just cutting off a couple of pieces of sprue, and I'm going to put one sprue there from the side of the tank into the building there. And then I'm going to use another piece of sprue and just go from here to here to make it look like another pipe. Otherwise, I don't think there's just a drum standing there by itself, a tank and whatnot. I did have, like I said, this was an open box kit. The ladders were pretty brutal, and so some of them broke just touching them. Another thing I wanted to point out in this kit, if you look at the exploded view, it shows the windows, but there is no clear window glazing material that comes with this kit. Now, it was an open box kit, but I can tell you in reading the instructions, it doesn't talk about any kind of glazing. So what I did was I just put some window glazing in there. I just had some extra glazing lying around, and so that fit the bill. So we're going to go ahead now and start applying our Coors decals that I made up, and kind of dress this up so that it looks like kind of the Coors Rocky Mountain Brewery. So that's kind of what we plan on doing it, and it's going to fit in this space quite well. I went ahead and found some vintage signage that seems to be period correct for our brewery. And what I need to do is cut these out, see what looks best on our model, and then take some sandpaper on the back side of these and gently sand them so that they'll get a little bit thinner and look a lot better than just cutting out a piece of paper and gluing it onto the model. So we're going to do that next. Well, here's our finished model after we got done doing all our signs and a little bit more weathering. Now, initially, I was going to take this and make a double-sided sign, kind of show you what I had in mind. I was going to make a double-sided sign here and just kind of put it up there. But I ended up choosing not to, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I felt that that looked too modernized, and I thought with the rest of the signage that we have all the way around the model, I felt that that was almost maybe a little too much. Kind of move all the way around so you can get a close look. And that is kind of how we ended up doing it. Now I'll show you what it looks like in location. Here is how our finished model now looks. Now this is actually in place. We decided we were going to move it from its original location. And I'm just kind of slowly going around. But we decided to move it from its original location. It was actually going to be right there. But with it being there, it blocked the tunnel view. And the more we looked at it, just really didn't think that that was going to be very conducive to creating videos, because that's one of the reasons why we are building this layout. So we decided to move it where the houses were and move the houses over there. And I think that was a much smarter decision. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up so that you can see the back side of it and the side a little bit better as well. Here's what the back side looks like. And we'll go ahead and put this back in place. Kind of give you a little bit of an elevated view as well. And I really like how that came out. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Take a look inside as well. You can kind of see all the different things that we put in there. And that's the build. So give us a like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and you'll all be blessed.